Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it's time for your Leeds versus West Ham pre-match chat. We've also got some other news to discuss as well, not least Cody Drameh and, of course, the new contract of Adam Forshaw. Sorry, this is later than normal. I'm a very tired boy. I was up late last night completing one of my university assignments. I believed I would have got it sorted, but it turns out I just met the deadline, so I didn't want to be putting out this video at like midnight last night. So my apologies for that, but I'm still doing it for you bright and early this Saturday morning. I hope you're all doing great, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. But before we do go into all the latest news and, of course, the West Ham preview, do please smash a like on this video. We are so close to 8,000 subscribers as well, so if you could do me a solid and subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Leave your comments in, and, of course, hit that notification bell, because I will be doing a watch-along for this specific game tomorrow at 1:30, Leeds versus West Ham down at the London Stadium, and hopefully it's a little bit more positive than it was last time in the FA Cup, because that was a pretty woeful game, in all honesty. I was a little bit disappointed with how that transpired and the substitutions and all that stuff, but we've spoken about that. Let's start with a positive. Of course, Adam Forshaw got a new deal yesterday. It was announced by the club, and truly, you know, hats off to him. Well deserved. What a turnaround it's been. There's been a lot that have been championing him even before his return, and then Radrazani did that tweet, and everyone was like, "Well, you know, we need a new midfielder. Who is it?" And he's like, "Adam Forshaw." And I bet he sat there humble as all, you know, like sat there smoking the cigar, saying, "I told you all, I did tell you all." But he's been fantastic, and the new contract is well deserved. So props to him. We're now going to speak about the Cody Drameh situation. Listen, if I'd have done this video yesterday, I'd have gone on a bit of a rant. Because, you know, the pride in me was like, you do this, you leave Leeds United, you delete everyone from your social media, you think you're bigger than Leeds United, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? That sort of emotion was evoked in me. I do still stand by the point that Cody Drameh has left us in a sticky situation. The manager wanted him to stay. Him and his agent felt it best not to, and moved to Cardiff in the Championship. And I don't go along with that. And there are sections of the fan base that will say, yeah, well, you've made your bed, now lie in it. I am one of them. Like, of course, it's disappointing, because I do believe Cody Drameh will have a decent career at right back, you know, in the Premier League. I do genuinely believe that, and it might be one we'll look back on, but I think his time at Leeds United is done. That's just my personal opinion. Again, of course, there is a counter narrative to this story, because let's be honest, when we have a fully fit squad, and I've seen people mention it, and they hit the nail on the head, rather than bring on a right back, we will move a midfielder into right back. We will move a centre back across to right back, rather than use an under 23 who's there. Now, in my opinion, Cody Drameh's not ready. Cody Drameh's not ready, and we've seen that against Arsenal. Martinelli skinned him time and time again. I remember saying after the game that it was woeful, and someone said in the comments, you know, I took a bit of stick, and that's fine. Joe's a young lad, you know, it's his first game, you know, woeful, bit harsh, but he was poor. He was poor, and he's not ready. And I've said that. I think the only ones that are ready for me are Creswell and not Cody Drameh, Joe Gelhardt. I remember, you know, when Cooper went off injured, I think against Brentford, if my mind, you know, it is correct. I don't have the best memory, but yeah, it was Brentford. I remember Hieldi and Creswell both warming up at the time. And I remember saying in my post-match and at the ground what them lads must feel like when they look to the bench and we bring on, you know, we move a click on, and then there was a late decision. I think, I can't remember who came on, but we moved moving parts, as opposed to saying, do you know what, Creswell? Do you know what, Hieldi? Go on. And I suppose Cody Drameh's looking at that, because ahead of him, he would have Dallas going in at right back. You would have Jamie Shackleton going in at right back. And he's obviously frustrated at his playing time. But like Bielsa said in his press conference, you know, at the end of the day, he says, I probably overvalue that you're in a 20-man squad that is in the best league in the world. Cody needs to remember that, you know, that he's playing in the best league in the world, and now he's going to drop down to the Championship. Look, he'll probably have a great time at Cardiff under Steve Morrison. Maybe he will, and he'll pull up loads of trees. I remember seeing Fabrizio Romano's tweet when this first dropped, and he said several Premier League clubs now monitoring him for next season, when it was first announced, before Phil, before Graham, all these people. And I thought, what's he on about? Several Premier League clubs now monitoring him. We'll want to keep him. But now it sort of makes sense because it looks to me like his agent's been doing some digging. You know, you see the stuff on social media. He's unfollowed all the players, which I find random as oh, it is a little bit strange in my opinion. Bielsa's not on him anymore. Maybe the powers that be at the club will also be frustrated by the situation that he sort of left us in the lurch a bit. Because I remember, you know, just a couple of days ago, I was scratching my head as to why we were letting a right back go when we, you know, we're guilty of maybe having the same situation we have at left back in that we let Leif Davis go and we only have Junior Firpo, who's a specialist left back. But obviously there was stuff underneath this and Drameh was pushing for the move. You know, his agent seems to have been pushing for the move. I've seen a number of tweets where this guy's agents, a lot of his players have been in this situation. But look, when he left Fulham and came to us for £1 million, and he probably had a similar sort of vibe at Fulham, and we were okay with it at that point. Now it's happening to us. Of course, you know, you don't like it. But I did think when, you know, Fabrizio mentioned that about several Premier League clubs monitoring him, it now makes sense because if he has a good time away at Cardiff, maybe another Premier League club will look to take him. But if he's expecting to move on from Cardiff to go straight starting in the Premier League, he's not ready. He's not at that level. So I'm a little bit confused. And I agree with Bielsa when he said that although he's sort of digging himself out, but he's also having a dig at Drameh, I think, by saying perhaps I overvalue that you're in a 20-man squad, the best league in the world. Do you know what I mean? That should be enough for you at your age. You know, he did go into it in a little bit more detail, and I want to just convey his comments. And he said, look, I didn't think he needed to play games elsewhere. He was a player who was very necessary with all the absences we've had, but he preferred to play outside of Leeds. So for me, you want to play outside of Leeds? On your bike, son. It is what it is. He said, in a situation where opportunities for youngsters have increased clearly, you know, because of all the injuries, in this case, Drameh would prefer to experiment outside of our team. I consider that position valid, and I don't think it makes sense to oppose him. What I imagine as a great opportunity, he imagined in a different way. It's more important what he thinks than what I think. I don't think it's convenient to oppose in a situation where a player does or doesn't want to belong. He said, it doesn't disappoint him. He said, I don't condemn or criticise, but he makes the point that at Leeds, there is a bigger pathway for young players than at most Premier League clubs, which has proved to be the case because we're seeing every club in the Premier League trying to get games called off because they're unable to field their strongest teams rather than putting faith in the youngsters. You know, we've seen Arsenal, who played a Carabao Cup tie, get Xhaka get a red card, and now they want the game off on Sunday. They've sent players out on loan. They've got players at AFCON. We're seeing Liverpool, all these certain clubs. You can't tell me they don't have a squad big enough to field the team. Now, Leeds United did that. Look at the Arsenal game. Look what we had. We had Archie Gray on the bench, for God's sake, yeah? And people will say, oh, but yeah, you had games called off. Yeah, but we were COVID outbreak in that situation. People are just calling games off now for love nor money. So if Cody Drameh or any young person thinks they're going to get a better pathway at another Premier League club, I don't see it, you know. He said, my position is that if any player wants to leave, I'm not going to oppose it. I apply that to any player who wants to leave. Any player who comes to me and says he doesn't want to be here can count on me to let him leave. And I'm with that. Like, if you don't want to be at Leeds United, then away you go. That is my opinion too. You know, if you don't want to be here, side before self, you've left your teammates in the lurch. I feel that it's gone a little bit sour, the fact that he's unfollowed all the players as well. I understand him following the club and redoing your social media and all that. It makes sense. Okay, if that's your prerogative, do it. But to follow or unfollow all the players, maybe something's gone on that we don't know about. But I am just speculating. Of course, Bielsa took the said it basically was his fault. He said lack of adaptation of mine rather than the players. If being this close to the first team isn't enough, evidently there's an error in the calculation of those in charge, meaning him. But he's been a bit tongue-in-cheek because let's be honest, guys, this kid Cody Drameh, you know, he's obviously got bags of potential. For me, he's not quite ready. Okay, it's only a snapshot seeing him up against Martinelli, but he wasn't great. That's the facts. But if you don't want to be here, don't be here, mate. And I think that that's the last we've seen of Cody Drameh. And I don't care. And that's just my opinion. There will be a counter narrative to that. There is a counter narrative that people, and I understand it, there's players ahead of him and all that jazz, and players that aren't actual right backs are getting used ahead of him. But you've just got to bide your time. You've just got to bide your time. But Leeds United's not for him. Leeds United's not for him. And I don't think I would welcome him back with open arms. There are people that will, and that's their prerogative. But for me, if you don't want to be here and you're leaving us in a situation which we find ourselves in now, then you ain't up for the fight. And that's just my opinion. So bye-bye, Cody Drameh. I hope you have a good... Well, no, I don't. If you don't come back to Leeds United, I hope your career just goes in the bin. Call it what you want, sour grapes, whatever, I don't really care. But let's get on to tomorrow's game against West Ham at the London Stadium. Massive, massive news. Bamford, Rodrigo and Strout could all be involved. It is a massive, massive boost for Leeds United. And I said this in the Premier League preview to Oscar. If they're 90% fit, get them in there. Get them in there because we need them. And look, we'll struggle to get anything down against West Ham in the league. 100%. 100%. I'm under no illusions. I'm going to say now the best we can hope for is a point. If we were to get 3 points, it'd be absolutely huge because then we play Newcastle. If you beat Newcastle, then you've got a massive gap and anyone can just stop chatting about relegation. We can just stop chatting. We would start to see the light at the end of the wood. I know I've said we're not out of the woods yet. If we were to get some positive results, you would start to see that. But Bamford, Rodrigo, Strauch could all be involved. We need to see Bamford lead the line, clicking behind him, Rafinha from the right, James from the left, midfield of maybe Dallas, Forshaw, Ayling at right back. I know Llorente is suspended, so it could be Koch and Hieldi, or do you throw Strout straight in? I'd be happy to go with Hieldi. I don't think we need to rush all them back, but I think Bamford has to come back. And Firpo left back. We know that Firpo's good as well after his concussion issue. But Yelza also did reveal that Dallas and Ayling are every week playing with issues others might cry off. I think that's a props to them as well. And if you flip that on its head and look at the Cody situation where he's gone and it isn't up for the fight, you've got players like Dallas and Ayling who get Leeds United, who are playing through injuries. So I just want to give them two a big shout out as well. And I think them two will start at the weekend. Look, West Ham, they'll have largely the same side that played us in the FA Cup. They went very strong in that. They went very strong against Norwich and won that game. They're in a good bit of form right now. Of course, I'd love us to spoil that party, but it is going to be tough. I think Soufal will come in at right back, Creswell at left back. Man Soucek, he's out with COVID. So I think against West Ham, Lanzini played in there, but that meant, ahead of him, they could have Fornells, Bowen and Vlasic, and I was really impressed with Vlasic and, of course, Antonio leading the line. I think the good thing for us is that they have gone strong in each of these games, that maybe they might be a little bit of fatigue. But these are Premier League footballers. It shouldn't really, have that much of an impact on them. Maybe with Antonio, I know Conte said the guy looks knackered at times. Hopefully that comes into play in this game. But listen, it's going to be rock hard for us to get a result down there. David Moyes actually boasts the highest win ratio of any manager who has faced Leeds United in at least 5 Premier League games, winning 6 and drawing 1. And look, we're looking to get our first back-to-back league wins this season after that result against Burnley. If we were to get that, it'd be huge, but we haven't yet. And we have just picked up 1 win away from home, winning 1, drawing 3 and losing 5. So it's going to be tough. I'm under no illusions, right? And I think for me, the first goal is so huge because if West Ham get it, we get game stated. They sit back, they invite the pressure on and catch on the counter like they did. And we struggle to break teams down. We're better in transition, when it's a little bit like a basketball match, when it's end to end. And we can catch them on the counter. Or, we press them high. We've seen that in the game at Ellen Road where Soucek made that uncharacteristic error. I do look at Diop and Dawson and think they can be got at. I do think in that FA Cup game, if Bamford starts that game, we get something out of it, just because he would cause Diop and Dawson all sorts of problems. Bamford's movement will cause them all sorts of problems. If we can get Rafinha into dangerous areas, if we can isolate Creswell, get him past Creswell, get it in the box, Bamford's movement should be enough for him to get past a Diop and a Dawson. I genuinely believe that. So there might be something in the game for us, but we have to score first. If West Ham score first and is scoring the first half, believe me, it'll just be one of them where you're just watching that game thinking, we are not getting anything from this, because that second half in the FA Cup was like pulling teeth. So yeah, believe me when I say the first goal is so important, and hopefully Leeds United will get that. Like, hopefully Leeds United will get that. If Bamford was to score, oh man, yeah. I'll say it again, and I do repeat myself. I'm well aware of this, but I just do this off the cuff. You know, Bamford has to start. I'd be happy. The rest of the lineup, you know, I would play James from the left. I would play Rafinha from the right. Click has to go in there. Maybe if Rodrigo's fit, he is, but I think Click's better for us. Behind him, Dallas, you'll have Forshaw. You've got Ayling. I think it'll be a centre-back partnership of Koch and Hjelde. I think Hjelde deserves this spot. It depends how well Struijk is. If Struijk's well, then of course you get him in there. And Junior Fairport left back. But Bamford has to start for me. He is key if we are to get anything from this game. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed the preview. I'm sorry again for it being a little bit later than normal, but my assignment's done now, so we'll be back on it. I will be doing a watch along for the game, and of course my post match after that as well. So make sure you join me for them videos if you can, and have an amazing weekend. I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.